Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the first edition of this new segment on a show about football channel here on YouTube. It's called Show Me the Money. I'm your host, Craig Jordan. And basically, this segment, Show Me the Money, is all about the business of college football and college sports in general. We're going to talk NIL deals. We're going to talk brand deals. We're going to talk about endorsements. We're going to talk about jersey deals, etc. We're also going to talk about player valuations and what they would go for on the open NIL market as this new part of college football and college sports called name, images, and likeness continues to change and evolve. We'll also follow that as well. Again, I'm Craig Jordan. Follow me. I'm at Craig Jordan23 on TikTok. You can also follow me on Instagram, JTJumps23. And then you can also follow me on Twitter, or X is what it's called now, at JTJumps23. Let's get right into it. Top news. This is a little bit older news, but we're going to cover it anyway. NCAA President Charlie Baker has proposed a new rule to allow schools to directly negotiate name, image, and likeness, also known as NIL, with athletes. So this would also establish a proposed trust fund of $30,000 per athlete as well. Some reports are saying that school ADs and presidents are saying that this would require about $6 million to be added to the current budgets of these universities that participate as well. I think this is a good thing. I think, honestly, I was waiting for this moment because I've always been a believer in the school should really be spearheading these NIL deals because players are basically employees of the school and they make money for the school, etc. So I've always thought that schools should be facilitating these deals, kind of like in the NFL. And then also you have like some sort of salary cap as well. Maybe they'll add that into it as well so that it doesn't get out of hand, because you have some schools like, let's say, the Boise States, the San Diego States, that might not be able to compete with your Alabamas, your Texases, your Georgias, etc. So this was brought to the table early December, so there's still some time before this could take effect. But hopefully this is what the president of the NCAA, Charlie Baker, again, has proposed, and hopefully we'll see schools start to directly negotiate with athletes as well. Next up, ESPN inks a massive deal. So 8 years, $920 million deal with the NCAA to air over 20 men's and women's sports and championships over the next 8 years. So the deal is worth about $115 million per year. And then also one big thing that's been talked about in this deal is 57% of the deal is tied to the women's basketball tournament. As most of you have known, last year's basketball tournament on the women's side brought in record viewership, with Angel Reese and LSU taking the national championship, and is continuing to grow as they draw more and more people into the tournament or to watching the tournament. ABC is going to air the women's national championship game in basketball for the next 8 years. So we're starting to see women's basketball going from just a cable thing to also a national TV thing. So that's huge as well. One big thing to know, so CBS and Warner still retain rights to the men's basketball tournaments as well. So all you March Madness folks, the men's basketball tournament is going to stay on CBS and TBS, USA, etc. So look for that too as well. So big shout out to ESPN, really locking down, the NCAA in terms of TV rights. ESPN is going to air a lot of new things. I think women's gymnastics is one of them that I saw as well. And shout out to ESPN for really putting an emphasis on the women's side of sports. As they continue to grow and more people continue to watch women's sports, it's going to become more and more important. And ESPN's leading the charge. So shout out to them. Next, we got NIL and NIL news. So this transfer portal has closed, but we do have some numbers out. So For high school, on the high school side, top defensive recruit valuation according to on3.com, we got Colin Simmons out of Duncanville. He committed to Texas. So, of course, as you know, most of the time in these NIL deals, or if you don't know, most of the time when it comes to NIL, name, image, and likeness in college sports, of course, the most important positions, quarterback, receiver, running back. On the offensive side, those are usually going to be the highest paid, highest valued athletes when it comes to NIL. But we got a defensive player, Colin Simmons, again from Duncanville, Texas. He's an edge rusher. He's committed to Texas. He came in at number 5 on the NIL valuation according to On3 for high school. Now, next we have a few things I want to explain really quick before we hop right into. I created what's called an NIL index or NIL indexes. So basically what I did was I took the top 10 players for high school, the top 10 players for college football, and the top 10 players or top 10 college athletes in general. And I made 3 separate indexes. I added up their complete values, and that's where the index is going to stand at. Of course, the indexes, just like the stock market or just like any other market, they do fluctuate. So I'll definitely highlight if there's a big swing in the indexes. And this will come out once a week, as the report on On3 is updated every week. Y'all can go check that out at on3.com. So the high school top 10 currently sits at, or this week's or week 1, the high school top 10 index currently sits at $5,788,000. The top valuation coming in high school is quarterback Julian Sand from Carlsbad, California. He's an Alabama commit. And biggest jump in valuation over the last week at $28,000 is Dylan Raiola, quarterback from Buford, Georgia, and he's committed to Nebraska for next year. Now we got the college football top 10 index. It currently sits at $21,400,000. The top athlete in college football is Shedeur Sanders, quarterback from Colorado, and his valuation is sitting at $4 million. The biggest jump week over week in college football, Jalen Milroe, quarterback from Alabama. He increased his valuation by $14,400. So again, shout out to college football top 10, again sitting at $21,400,000, and that's for the top 10 college football athletes. Now let's move on to the big board index. So that's going to be the top 10 college athletes in general, and that sits at $28,100,000. And of course, the top valued athlete according to On3 and NIL is going to be Bronny James. For those of you who don't know, he's a point guard. He plays basketball for the University of Southern California, and his valuation sits at $5.9 million. And then the top woman athlete is Livy Doon. She's a gymnastics star at LSU, and her valuation right now currently sits at $3.3 million. So again, ladies and gentlemen, those were your NIL indexes. Be sure to tune into us every week for the Show Me the Money report. We're going to have the top NCAA sports business news, and then also top NIL news, brand deals, etc. You can follow me on Craig Jordan23 on TikTok. You can also follow me on X at J2Jumps23, and you can follow me on Instagram if you're on Instagram at J2Jumps23 as well. This has been the Show Me the Money report. I'm Craig Jordan. I'll see y'all next week.